Hello creators, how are you guys? It's great to hang out with you again for another Video Creators Podcast episode like we do here every Tuesday on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, all those places. But we also live stream this every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time here at youtube.com/videocreators. Great to see all of you guys who are here in the chat and ready to dive in to an amazing conversation, I hope, about the top 11 things that we see creators commonly spending their time on to try to grow their channel, to try to get more views, to try to get more traction and more momentum, and ultimately are just kind of like a waste of time. I know this doesn't sound like something, this does sound like something maybe that's going to ruffle some feathers, because I know some creators, as we work with literally I don't even know, Dahlia, how many do we, like, I know it's over like 100 a month for sure, like on a personal one-on-one basis, plus there's video labs, plus there's action plans, so I should probably get that number.
So, yeah, I feel like probably at least 200
a month,
I would say.
Something?
Yeah.
For those of you guys who don't know who Dahlia is, she's here with me, obviously. She's one of the strategists on my team. Lennon is not here. He is usually here with us. He's a strategist on my YouTube strategist as well, who works with our clients and with creators, but he's taking the day off. So it's just Selina and I here diving into the things you're probably spending time on to try to grow your channel in terms of SEO tactics specifically, like the things you're trying to do to rank and to optimize, and the things that we're going to tell you are just like, I'm sorry, but it's not worth your time. It's wasting time. It's not going to help you grow your channel. And hopefully by the end of this, you'll have a list of things that maybe you're currently doing that you can stop doing and start using that time instead to work on things that are going to grow your channel and actually gain momentum for what you're doing on your channel. And this is something I usually ruffle some feathers because, and maybe not in the creator niche in the community as much, although I think some of this certainly will. Like I said, we work with you guys all the time, and these are the things we commonly hear. But especially if you have any type of SEO background, I think some of these are fighting words we're going to be sharing. Like some of these, and I know that because I recently was in a conversation with a very well-known SEO ranking optimization company. Featured me, and I think now they're wishing they would have vetted me first, because everything that they were saying you should do to grow your YouTube channel, I'm like, nope, that was been disproven. Nope, that doesn't work. Nope, lots of people try that and don't get anywhere. So we want to set you guys straight based on over a decade of experience, just me personally, plus Delana's experience and working with literally hundreds of creators every single month. We see what works, we see what doesn't, we see where your time's best worth investing into and where it's not. And so we want to help you guys really focus on the stuff that's going to help you grow. So we're excited to dive into that with you guys here today. And if it ruffles some feathers, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to do that on purpose. I'm just trying to help you guys out who are open to learning. Those of you guys who are teachable, we want to teach you. If you're not teachable, well, you'll just get angry at us instead. So how's that for a setup? Oh, gosh.
We're just doing this because we love you. Okay.
I just think I'm so used to hearing people push back and tell me, well, that's not true because, and then they cite this bogus research or a study that was done that was complete. I think the biggest problem with this, actually, Delana, is that a lot of people confuse correlation with causation.
Yeah.
They think that, oh, if you do this, this causes that thing to happen, which a lot of times is not true. It's like there actually is no correlation between the thing that you're doing and the thing you think is causing growth to happen. It seems like there's a correlation, but there's not. It's just either coincidental, and actually what's happening is that this other thing is going on, and that's what's leading to growth, and that's the stuff I want to pick at here today so you guys can actually get the truth about this. So.
And all we have to do is usually point them to their YouTube analytics and see well, this is doing this and that's why this is happening. And it's just all the answers are in there. They just think that they plugged in. Anyways, we're going to get into all things. But
all I have to do normally, this is how I usually approach it in a convention setting, is someone who's like, Tim, I am doing this thing and I'm doing that thing. I bought all the right tools and I'm doing this stuff. So I'm just really excited. I'm like, oh, great. How's that working for you so far? And the answer is always the same. Oh, well, actually, so far it's not. I'm like, okay, great. Well, not great. I'm sorry that's not working. And I'm sorry that you're wasting a lot of time. But if it's not working, would you be open to trying a different approach? And then it's usually a little bit easier to kind of talk about some of the stuff. So I wish we could go way more in depth than we do here. We go in Video Labs, we take several weeks and we just go super in depth all the way into like, how does the algorithm work and how do you get views and subscribers and how do we optimize our content for the algorithm so that they are surfacing us. And I think maybe by the end of this, you'll notice, you'll learn that this isn't even actually about optimizing for the algorithm as much as it is for something else, which we will get to here in a little bit. I'm excited to dive in. Selina.
Me too.
Selina, how are you doing here so far with quarantine and everything? How are you guys, you and your husband doing?
We are doing awesome. Still in the process of the house. But I'm embarrassed to say right now that I'm sore from learning TikTok dances.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yes.
hold on. I got my phone out right now. Where do I go? Where do I follow?
Oh, it's no. None have been posted yet because
where do I prepare to follow?
You would not want to. Okay,
I'm
think my
searching right
account.
now.
I think my
Hunt.
account name is just Delana Cherie. So D'Laina and then SHEARIT.
I always think of
think
shear it like a sheep, like I'm shear it. That's how I remember how to spell that.
Yeah.
Oh, I found you. You have one video so far.
I do have one video. It's from challenge that I did. It's very funny, but it was
248 views on that one. First video.
Yeah. So that was interesting. Tells a little bit of an interesting story, but
I have one TikTok video so far, or two maybe. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect them to do very well. I'm like, I'm just gonna post something for the sake of having something, but I'm tempted. I think about it a lot. Not a lot. I shouldn't say that. I think about it, but I don't have time for this. I'm just like, Tim, stay in your lane. You got a business, you got clients, you've got a family, you've got YouTube. To get distracted by one more thing just seems a little bit like too much right now. But yeah, we're doing fine. We're getting ready to have chickens come this weekend. So I'm building a chicken coop.
You're chipping.
Literally burned my finger, like literally like black and ash really is what happened.
Oh
like
my
it didn't just like get burnt. It like literally got burned. So it's under this Band-Aid here, but underneath of it, my finger is black and I could like dust away the ash from the burnt skin.
Charred.
Yeah. So I was wearing gloves, thankfully. So it's not too bad. I'll be fine here in a few days, I'm sure. But it looked a lot worse. I had no feeling in it. I didn't feel anything. I mean, I felt it something at first and I let go, but then I was like, oh, I looked at it. I'm like, it's bad when you have no sensation, no pain at all. And you can tell it literally is charred and ash on your skin.
Oh my gosh.
Battle wounds. It'll be fine. It'll be good. Well, today I think we have a moderator with us. I'm not sure. I'm looking in the chat. Dennis, if you're here, let me know. It's Dennis's first week to hang out with us and moderate. And Dennis, if you're here, we just want to make sure. Everyone's asking, who hurt you? Stop lying to everyone. Okay, yeah, this is why it's better if we have a moderator. Hey, Dahlia, that's what I'm asking. Dennis is supposed to be moderating for us today, Dennis Abad. And if he's here, I don't see him on our Google Doc, so I don't think he's here. It's going to be our first week. Yes, Dahlia, this chicken thing is no joke. 25 chickens coming, got the coop probably a little less than halfway done. Stream 10, do you guys really believe this pathetic liar? I've been watching you for years and he has no great answer. I have not benefited from any of his videos. He's making money off you guys. Then you should leave. That's all it takes. Is for you to just leave. And that would take care of that issue for you. But I know we do generate results because I see it literally every day. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Dahlia's going to jump in. Okay, cool. Thanks, Dahlia. That'd be great.
Oh, wow.
Welcome to Chickenlandia. So our moderator today now is Dahlia from Welcome to Chickenlandia. And
you're the real MVP.
Yeah. So if you guys check, I don't have her linked up in the show notes or in the description because she's jumping in last minute here. But if you guys have questions for us, and I'm sure you will, because we're going to debunk a lot of things that I know a lot of you guys probably do regularly. and it's going to prompt a lot of questions, and we will get to as many as we can. So just tag Dahlia, or tag at Welcome to Chickenlandia, and she will do her best to get her questions in front of us. So she's a moderator here and a producer usually helping us with these, but she wasn't on the schedule today, but she's here anyway. So, and if any of you guys who are here feel like jumping in, and if you're attending anyway and you just want to help us to pull questions out of the chat and put them in front of us and help moderate the whole thing, let me know. And just email producer@videocreators.com and we will get you set up with that. So looking forward to having you guys join us. Let's see here. I'm excited to introduce you guys to a creator that Lennon recently worked with. His name is TJ Haynes. He has about 141,000 subscribers on his channel. And Lennon did a 1-hour consultation with him, sitting down, talking with him about his YouTube channel. And what I like about this conversation you're about to listen to between Lennon and TJ, just for a few minutes here, is that at the end of their session, they just talk real quickly about, hey, here's the problem that you're having. How do you move forward? What are your main takeaways? And so TJ is here to kind of share, here's my main takeaways with this problem so that you guys can overcome that and help start growing your channel the same way. So here's Lennon and TJ, and let's hear how they overcome their TJ's growth problems.
Hey guys, Lennon here with Video Creators. I'm here with TJ, and TJ has a channel called Piano Clubhouse. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And he is an OG YouTuber. This guy's been around the block for a lot of years, has made a huge difference in a lot of people's lives when it comes to music and piano. So man, this has really been fun digging into your channel with you, TJ. I appreciate you jumping on today.
Thank you.
Yeah, so tell everybody what did you feel like was the biggest struggle that you were having as you were coming in to today's consultation?
Well, I've been around, as you mentioned, been around for over 10 years. We had some really good growth at the beginning of the channel. And probably in the last 3 to 4 years, the growth just plateaued. It just steady, no matter what I did, no matter what videos I put out, no matter no matter how I tried to switch things up, nothing changed. Subscribers stayed the same, growth stayed the same, views stayed the same. And so I tried some different marketing avenues as far as hiring consultants here, freelancers here, and just tried everything else to help. And it just dawned on me in probably the last few weeks that, hey, why not get some YouTube professionals to help me out with my YouTube channel? Why go outside and get help from people who don't know YouTube and don't know the internet even? Why not get help from the people who know it the best? So I reached out to you guys, and our meeting was great.
Cool. And you know, if somebody's going through a similar thing as you, and I'm sure somebody watching this or listening to this is, where their channel is just feeling stuck. Mm-hmm. You know, what do you feel like was a couple takeaways that you're excited to try and implement?
For me personally, what I got most out of our conversation was I haven't been making that connection with my viewers and with my subscribers. I've got thousands of videos posted. I'm posting 20 to 30 videos a month. So the content isn't the problem. The quantity isn't the problem. It's just that to get to that next level of connecting with your audience, they need to actually connect with the person. The videos are all fine and dandy, but the person behind the video, they want to know who I am, who TJ is. They want to know how I teach, how I approach different problems, whatever it is, they want to make a connection with me. And that was the thing that has been lacking in these years, was me connecting with them. Another thing I learned was how I present my material. So as far as the titles of my videos, the thumbnails, what they see in the first few seconds or the first few minutes, as opposed to just having static content throughout. So just how I can even use the same content I have, but just presenting it a different way. Just doing those little tweaks can make a big difference. So I got a lot of stuff that I'm excited to go back to the drawing board and kind of implement and kind of see how that helps.
Yeah, cool. And this is worth noting for those of you guys listening and watching this, like TJ, this is his business. Like he's running a business here. And as he said, he's hired some marketing guys and to do some of this stuff too. And so those of you that are running your business through your channel, you know, and their channel is like complementing it, that connection is so important for you guys. And so I want to make sure that really gets highlighted here, because I want all of you guys to get that same thing, that same benefit, is like, how can you connect deeper with your audience so you can grow your business more? Because we want that for all of you guys. So TJ, dude, you're the best. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today.
Thank you, Lennon. Appreciate it.
If you guys want to dive into a conversation with Lennon, Delana, or myself, you can simply go to videocreators.com/consulting and schedule a 1-hour session with any of the three of us there. And we would love to just dive in and help you get past your roadblocks, hear your story, hear what you're trying to work on, what your goals are, what your dreams are, and then in 1 hour, give you a plan for moving forward. I know some people are like, 1 hour? Like, should I schedule 2 or 3? I'm like, no, just do 1, because so far, pretty much everyone is like blown away by how much they get in only 1 hour. They're like, oh, I came in thinking you were giving me some generic things, but like, this is exactly what I need to move forward. So you can check it out at videocreators.com/consulting. Schedule your 1 hour session. We'd love to dive in with you. It'd be fun. Let's dive into the stuff you guys are wasting your time on to grow your channel. I don't even like saying that. Just saying the word wasting time just sounds terrible.
Hurts.
It does.
Yeah.
I was on this one website, Delana, looking at like a different project management tool that I was thinking about using for some of our stuff. And there's this pop-up, this popover came up. He's like, hey, enter your email address to get 10% off or whatever. And I'm like, no, I was like looking for the X. But next to the X, it said, no, I like wasting at least one day of my week every week or something. And I was like, ooh, that's a hard link to click. Like, kudos to this internet marketer right here.
Yeah.
I clicked it anyway, though, because I'd rather waste 1 day a week than sign up for all your emails. But yeah, that's why I don't have popovers on my website.
But it still hurts when you click those things. Like, I've had that happen on so many email subscriptions where you're like, no, I don't want that, but I also don't want your emails, but it still hurts every time.
Yeah, it does. Cool. Well, guys, number one thing that you are likely spending your time on for SEO that's probably not worth it. What is it, Delana?
Keyword research. I feel like there should be a big dun dun dun.
We're coming out with a doozy right out of the gate. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Tim, isn't it recommended to use YouTube auto suggest? Like, all I need to do is type the phrase keyword into the search bar, and then it'll tell me what the related keyword suggestions are. Isn't that what I should do?
Yeah, or Google Keyword Planner. There's a lot of other YouTube keyword research tools out there as well. We got a lot to go through, so I'm going to hit each of these kind of quickly. But the truth is that YouTube systems don't depend on keywords to figure out what your video is about and what the quality of your video might be for those keywords. I think, and I don't know this, but I'm just kind of guessing here, that I bet you could type in almost any keyword and get hundreds of thousands, if not millions of results for almost any keyword you're going to put in there now. So to kind of try to rank for keyword, I think now is, I know it's a very antiquated approach to growing your YouTube channel. Back in 2012, when YouTube stopped being based on keyword matching and instead switched over to watch time being the primary driver of how videos perform, it switched from being, does this word in the metadata match this search query? And instead, because YouTube was learning that, one, people use a lot of misleading information in their metadata, so we can't trust it. Two, some people just don't know what to put here at all, so they don't put anything. And then three, people are just intentionally like they're just lying. They're like, oh, this video is about this thing, but if we put this in the title and the thumbnail, people will click, and people might click, but then quickly abandon the content, and that's not a very good viewer experience for the viewer. And so YouTube's quickly learning that we can't depend on metadata. We have to actually have systems in place that literally look at what the video itself is about with no other information, and then watch how viewers engage with this content and what signals we collect from the viewers about, is this video valuable to them or not? Does it keep them on YouTube longer? Do they click and watch this video for a longer period of time than these other videos that we could have published? So I'm not dogging keyword research necessarily, but here at Video Creators, we've kind of switched internally our language. Instead of calling it keyword research, we'll call it topic research. And don't you want to explain a little bit about that, Selina? Like how to use maybe the same process, but coming up for topics and ideas rather than keyword matching stuff?
Yeah, so it's not about like, how do I perfectly match all these words to get YouTube to recognize me, but it's more about how do I start to connect my content to the people who, to my ideal target audience. You know, what are they looking for, and how can I put myself in their journey to trying to find this type of content? What things will I click on and stuff like that? So maybe that is typing in a search phrase and then seeing what comes up. But like more so than that, we're not just looking at keywords. We're looking at what kind of thumbnails are people using? How are they titling their videos to entice the viewer to click, you know? And then even clicking on those videos and going into the comments and seeing what questions those viewers are asking, or like what were the things that were still left unanswered that maybe you could make a follow-up video to, you know? And there's a million different ways. You can also just research in your niche. Like if you have, say, a tech channel and keeping up with trending tech items, you know, whether it's for like photographers or something like that, and just making sure that you're on top of the game so that you're best serving your audience. The best way that you know how to. So it's more about what will actually connect with them.
Those of you guys who are in the live chat who are asking, but what about this tool, or what about that tool, or I pay this monthly fee for that and access to, we're not saying any of those are bad. We're just saying that this idea of keyword matching is a thing of the past. And then the search results themselves are so personalized, depending on who YouTube thinks is watching, your search history, your viewing history, what types of content you engage with best, channels you're subscribed to versus channels you're not subscribed to, what device that you're watching. Like if you're watching on a television, you're going to get different results than if you're on a mobile or on a desktop. So there's this idea of ranking number one is by and large like kind of this thing of the past. I mean, there are some videos that tend to get more traffic than others, of course, but it's based primarily on the viewer signal. So real quickly before we move on though, is that what we're not saying is that you should throw out all, I use air quotes here, quote unquote, keywords, because as long as people still use language to communicate things, people expect to see certain words represent certain values that they want to consume. So if I am looking for something about a particular sneaker, for example, as a recent creator I worked with, using that sneaker in the title would probably be good. Not necessarily because YouTube would otherwise have no idea this video is about that sneaker, but rather instead because the viewer who wants to consume that content would expect to see those words in the title that helps them understand that, yes, this is the value I'm going to get. So in the beginning, we talked about a lot of confusion between correlation and causation. So the video doesn't perform well just because you have a certain keyword in the title. It performs well because it communicated appropriately the value that an audience wanted to click and watch. That's why it's performing well. And there's a lot of things to get into here. I feel like I want to camp out here just because I know this is probably like a really big one, and I don't want to cause confusion with it necessarily, because I don't want to just leave you guys be like, well, what do I do instead, and leave you hanging. But so I guess I'll summarize it and say, do your research and do your stuff, but don't think of it in terms of like, I need to get these words shoved into these right spaces this number of times in order for my video to work. YouTube is moved way past that. And in fact, they know when you're uploading your video, they know what's in the content itself. They know how many people are speaking. They can create separate captions tracks for each person who's talking. They know what the street sign behind you says when you're on that street corner vlogging. They know, they can identify what's actually happening in the video itself, even before your video is finished uploading. So have you ever had a content ID match? You put some copyrighted material in your content, you upload that, and boom, it's blocked even before it's even finished uploading because you had that copyrighted material in there. And that's not in your metadata or anything. You're like, how do they know? Because they are literally scanning this content and they can see exactly what's happening. You can get technical. We're talking about two different systems, content ID versus some of their other systems, but the principle is still the same. So it's not about optimizing for keywords, it's about optimizing for people. Okay, that's going to be kind of the through line here of as we go through it. All right, let's jump into number 2 here. We're going to get bogged down. So we could probably do a whole episode just on that keyword thing. But yeah, what's the next one, Delana?
Use target keywords for your video file name. So basically making sure that you title, whenever you upload the actual video, that it's titled correctly. Like it says, I don't know, salmon, or how to make salmon if you're creating a video on that, and somehow YouTube is going to read that and therefore better identify the type of content that it is and who it's for and whatnot.
What do you think about that one?
I think everything that we said just before already kind of answers that question,
Yeah, this is just like the way people think about, like there's a robot we need to trick or something, and they're looking for any little button to hit. And like, this isn't about tricking a robot. This is just actually what it comes down to. I'm kind of giving away the punchline, but just making content that people respond well to. So no, putting your keywords in your file name before you upload it doesn't make a difference. I'm pretty sure I was in the room when that myth started. It was several years ago at a panel Q&A thing at VidCon. And one of the guys on stage was a community manager for MCNs back when those were a big thing. And the multi-channel network, if you're not sure what MCN is, this guy was like, yeah, this is what we do. We found that this helps. And everyone was like, ooh, perfect. That's the stuff that people latch onto. If you tell them make better content, it's not nearly as tangible. And so people don't latch onto that. But that was the first time I heard that myth anyway. And since then, it's been debunked by YouTube themselves several times. Daryl Eves, several years ago now, did a video, which I will link up in the show notes for you, those of you listening to the podcast. You can go look at Daryl's research on this and the studies and the tests and experiments he's tried. And he also concluded, like, I put these words in this file name, uploaded it, like, I don't remember, like 18 different times on different channels, kept checking over the course of 3 months, and those videos never showed up for anything I put in the file name, which is exactly the way what we would expect. So yes, don't do that. I mean, you can, but it's not going to make a difference. I would only do it in case if it helps you manage your content internally better for some reason. That's the only reason I would do it. Number 3.
Number 3 is, sorry, I got caught up in the chat. Add closed captions. Add your own closed captions, right? Because therefore you're going to put in all your own words so that YouTube will know better what your video is about and boost your SEO performance, right?
Yeah. So the idea is like, they crawl the captions file. And so if I want to tell YouTube what my video is about, I need to say my keyword 13 times in the opening 60 seconds, make sure that's in the caption so that YouTube's like, wow, this video must really be about this. And look, they put it in the title, they put it in the description 10 times, they put it in the tags, and they set in the captions file, all that repetition, like we're convinced it's about that thing. And it probably is about that thing. But if someone clicks on it and stops watching it 10 seconds later, it doesn't matter. So as opposed to just doing it once or even 0 times and people's watching, giving it the watch time it needs, then that video is going to outperform the one that has it listed 15 times. So the myth is like YouTube crawls the search engines crawl the captions, and the more times you put that in there, the better it'll rank. The truth is that technically, yes, YouTube does crawl the captions files, but they place very little weight, if any weight at all, on the captions algorithmically. There's been some studies and experiments that have been done to try to figure out to what degree, and the results always fluctuate between, in the actual data. I'm not saying like someone who had a good idea is now saying, hey, here's another way I thought about getting keywords onto YouTube, and then claiming that it works. There's a difference between people who are claiming this stuff works and people who actually work on this stuff all day, every day with hundreds of channels and see what actually works and doesn't work. This stuff, is like a lot of effort for, if any, fruit, very, very little. The results always fluctuate between no difference at all and maybe, but we can't really tell. There might be a difference here. Now you can see in your data and your analytics that people who are watching the captions they are worth a higher amount of watch time per user on an average view duration basis. And usually the research indicates that those are ESL people, like English as a second language people, who are watching those primarily. So if you speak English as a second language or you have a lot of ESL viewers, then that would especially be helpful. But in the end of the day, like, it's a lot of work for very little results. So I would recommend you do it just because YouTube's asking for the information and it serves your viewer better, but not because it's going to help your videos perform better in search or suggested or homepage or anything like that. Number 4, what's up next?
Add channel keywords. That adding channel keywords will also help me rank in search or make it easier for viewers to discover me or anything in between somehow.
Yeah, there's a setting where you can go into your settings for your channel and add keywords. And a lot of people are like, make sure you get those right. It's going to help you rank better. But it's the same thing as we talked about with video keywords. Yeah, put it in there. YouTube's asking for the information. Give it to them. But I think most channels we work with, like, their channel keywords are blank and they're just growing. They're growing just fine. So I have not seen like, oh man, big swing and a miss here. Like, if you get your keywords wrong in there, like, you are doomed. Or if you leave it blank, you are doomed. It's doesn't work that way. So put them in there. Don't freak out about it. Don't stress about it.
I would just like to address Michael Dennis's question, who said, why do my AirPods have strings?
I don't get it. What
and because I just have classic headphones.
Oh,
and he's calling them AirPods.
Oh, I see. Actual wired ones. It has like a microphone on the wire.
I know. I'm
like
so
archaic.
Old school. I am ancient over here.
It should be in a museum.
But you know what? You know what? Mine don't die. I can wear them all day, and I never got to charge them.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
How
about number 5 here? What are we up to next?
Optimize your video description and tags. This, I feel like, ties into the keyword research of making sure that you type in the right phrase and then gather all the keywords for that phrase and then plug them into your video and plug them in a certain order and have this certain amount of generic and this certain amount of specific and everything like that. And man, does that take time.
Is it worth it?
But is it worth it? Is it worth it?
That's what I'm asking you.
No.
You first.
I actually had a consultation I was working with recently. He did so awesome. I was so proud because we had one consult and he was just kind of scratching the surface of getting his channel going. And he really took so he booked that call, and then you could tell that he just really took everything that I said really seriously, and he just really implemented it really hard. And actually a lot of what we had talked about in that call was storytelling. And then from there, he books a second call with me because he's like, okay, I've been doing really well. He grew to over 40,000 subscribers within 3 months. And whenever I had a call with him, he was under 1,000. And so now he was just kind of like, all right, we're doing really well. I want to know what our next steps are. And he told me during that call, he was like, so I tested this whole thing that you guys keep talking about, not using keywords. And he was like, I was really scared to do it. I uploaded one of my videos with no keywords, and guess what? It performed exactly the same. It didn't have any tags or anything in it. He didn't try to plug anything in the description, didn't put any tags, and everything performed just as usual, which was really good. His channel was performing. I think that video that he mentioned it was on its way to getting over 50K views. But he had just uploaded it like a week ago whenever I talked to him. So
yeah, I think tags they're still asking for that information, but YouTube says we don't really use this much except for to determine misspellings, like common misspellings. So if you have a last name, like let's say your name is Delana. How many misspellings are there for Delana?
way more than you could probably even imagine.
Let's say like if you're depending on Delana, you could add all those misspellings in there. That will be helpful. For those of you guys who are in the chat, I'm going to put a link in here for you. And those of you guys who are listening to the podcast, it'll be in the show notes. But this link goes straight to YouTube's support page that says like we don't really rely much on tags except to figure out common misspellings of this thing. So if you spell it correctly in your title and your metadata and your descriptions and everything, but other people are commonly spelling it this other way, add that misspelling there. So that's the truth about it. So that's for tags. For descriptions, write your descriptions, but write them in normal conversational English. You can keep your keywords in mind because, again, the human is probably looking and expecting to see those types of words to consume the value that they're looking to consume at that point. But it's not about how many times you put that keyword in there or whatever. Just open up that description with like a good paragraph or so that keeps your keywords in mind and writes them out in normal conversational English. But even if you don't do that, like to Delina's point, it's still probably going to be okay because YouTube's going to figure out what your content is about even without that information. So you can, YouTube's a lot smarter than you guys think it is based on the viewer signals they're collecting and based on their AI stuff. There's a lot of, it's really smart. So they're not, the days of keyword matching and things are left behind in like 2012 clearly, but even prior to that in some regards too.
Yeah, welcome to Chickenlandia actually said I accidentally uploaded a video with no tags and it was my best video lately.
There you go. All right, how about number 6?
Get more comments. So if we prioritize like that YouTube is really paying attention to how many people are commenting on our videos, and that's like a positive signal that, oh, if we get more comments, then people like this content, and so YouTube will show it to more people. True or false?
Well, this is okay. I'll go. This is a common confusion between correlation and causation.
Causation, yep.
Yeah, people think that, hey, look, we evaluate, this is a literal like study that I saw was done. We analyzed, I think it was like 10 million videos or something, and we saw that the videos that got the most views had the most comments on it. So if you want a lot of views, you should get more comments. But that's a good confusion between causation and correlation. Maybe the content that performed the best actually served the viewer the best and elicited like a human emotion that then prompted a comment. So the question is now, especially with a lot of like COPPA stuff things going on, if comments were disabled on that video, would it still perform just as well as it is now? Likely so. Right? Because it's not about the comments that is making your video perform better. It's actually that it's good content, so it performs well, and that elicits a response from the viewer. So the comment is actually like a correlation, not a causation. It doesn't make the video perform better. It just is another indicator that this is good content that people enjoy, that people watch, that they could get value from, enough so that they feel like responding to it. That's what's going on here. So, and the other thing is YouTube says like we don't put a whole lot of stock in comments because it's too easy to game. And like you can just go buy a whole bunch of comments somewhere that doesn't help you at all. And then the other thing is different niches, different audiences respond differently to content. So if you're going after, let's say one of our former Video Labs clients, she went from 400 subscribers to 100,000 subscribers in 1 year after going through Video Labs, that she's going like after a 50-plus-year-old audience, female audience of like a lifestyle channel. That audience is way less likely to comment than if you're going after like a 14-year-old girl watching family vlogs or something, like that person's going to comment more. So then if that were true, then all the videos we would see surfacing on YouTube would just be whatever videos are just getting the most comments. And that's not true at all. And so different audiences, different niches respond differently. So it's good to get comments, but that is more of what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't create growth. It's an indicator that you are doing the things that already create growth. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Number 7.
Number 7 is finding that perfect video length. Should I have a 5-minute video and then have people watch more of it? Or should I have a 10-minute video? If I upload if YouTube values watch time, should I upload 30-minute videos, finding like that perfect video length seems to be a question that even I get in almost every single consult. So
what do you tell them? Now you're on the spot. What do you tell them?
What I tell them is that the video, this is but a little bit of a vague answer, so I'll explain it afterwards. But the video needs to be exactly as long as it needs to be. Like if you are creating a video, like say that you're creating a cooking video and you're showing too much, like there's too much of you doing one thing over and over and over again all throughout the content, then you're kind of stretching it to 10 minutes. And that video could easily be a 5-minute video, get to the point, because you want to make the video feel like it's moving along. You just want to show just enough to get the point across. And they do this in film and TV as well. They show just enough to get the point across and then they move on. And so that's how you can gauge how long the video needs to be, because it should always be moving along. I don't think that you should have a target like, oh, my videos always need to be about this long. There's usually an average depending on the niche. Like for the video creators niche, for example, the videos say fall between anywhere to 6 to 10,
sometimes
15.
20. Like the creator stories tend to be closer to like the 15-minute mark. The tutorials tend to be around the 7-minute mark, and the quick tack tips type stuff tends to be around 3 to 4 minutes. So it kind of just depends.
Yeah, it's all over the place, because that's exactly how long the video needs to be to get the point across, and no more, no less, And so it's kind of a vague answer, but it's just like, okay, how long do you need to craft the story well, or whatever, or get the information across?
Yeah, the way I approach it is they ask me, well, how long should my videos be? And I'm like, well, let's answer that question by asking a different question. How well can you hold someone's attention?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's a different question. They're like, oh, okay, I see where you're going with this. Yeah, because this is less about if you do 2-minute videos or 20-minute videos or 2-hour videos. If you have the skill to hold someone's attention for 2 hours, then do that. Tell that story. If you have the skill currently that hold their attention for 2 minutes, then do that. So I agree. It's less about how long the video is and more about how much time do I need to do justice to this topic or this story.
Yeah.
Let's do justice to it, and then don't take a second longer. I think on average, or by default or whatever, I'm not sure what way to say it, but most creators tend to go too long because it's easier to ramble, like I'm probably doing in this episode, than it is to just kind of state the fact and move on. So I think it's probably a good principle that if you're not getting the traction on your videos, one thing to maybe try is to cut your content, and then when it's done being edited, take at least 10% out. So if it's a 10-minute video, keep going. Take another minute out of it and see how much further you can go to, if you can get that content down even further. So force yourself to be succinct. Remember the 5 B's of public speaking? Do you know what those are?
Be brief, baby. Be brief.
That's right. So remember the 5 B's of making videos. Not that you're going to be brief at all costs, because sometimes you need to throw in stories or you need to do other things as well to create a human connection. But it's about it's about finding the length that's right for your content. All right, number 8.
That we just got to get more subscribers to show YouTube that our channel is worth surfacing to more users.
And do subscribers make videos perform better?
Well, my question, No. My question is, how many of you guys, I'm sure there's a lot of you that still do, but how many of you guys actually start watching from the browse page, whenever you first sign in, just that first homepage, rather than your subscription feed? If you're a user like me, I find content that I want to watch way more in my little browse feed than I do in my subscription feed 9 times out of 10. And so I think that we're seeing YouTube more and more go in that direction of just paying attention to what the viewer best responds to. And you may have subscribers, but that doesn't mean that they're going to want to watch every single video that you upload.
Right.
I have never seen, somebody take off because they got more subscribers. Like, you can't just go out and buy subscribers and then all of a sudden your channel will start taking off. Because remember, YouTube, what is YouTube paying attention to? It's paying attention to viewer signals, viewer patterns. Do they want to click on this video whenever I put it in front of them, and everything in between? And if you just have these dead subscribers, then it's not helping your channel at all.
Right. So people think that the more subscribers you have, that's an indication to the algorithm that you're providing more value, more quality content that people want to watch. And that's not true. People who have 0 subscribers can perform just as well as YouTube as those who have millions. And sometimes it's the other way around too. Like, I've worked with channels who have millions of subscribers and aren't seeing much traction on their videos anymore, and other channels that have very few subscribers who are constantly getting way more views than they have subscribers. So the algorithm doesn't care how many subscribers you have. It's not an indicator of if your content is quality or not. They're going to evaluate that on an individual video level, not on a channel level like that. Number 9, promoting your channel. Yeah. So Delina, if I just take my video and promote it as many places as I can, email it out to my list and ask people to share it and just post it in every Facebook group that I can find, is that like a guaranteed way to get traction?
Nope. Because it can maybe help you get a few more views, but I think that the overall mentality that goes into like all these tactics is somehow we have to like prove to YouTube that our content is valuable, and then YouTube will start showing it to people. But it's not like that. YouTube is always paying attention to who's clicking on this video, who's not clicking on this video, and it's always trying to test and figure out who this content is for. And so by sharing it out, it's not really going to hurt your video, because all that YouTube is measuring is like, oh, people who come from Facebook don't watch this video very long. People who come from the subscription feed watch this video longer. Like, it knows where your viewers are coming from. And so it's not like, say that you share it out and then it doesn't perform well because of all the people that you shared it out to. That's not going to hurt where it fits within the YouTube world, like who YouTube is and isn't going to show it to according to the information that it has on how users on YouTube respond to it.
I think we sometimes forget that the goal of the algorithm is to surface the right video to the right person at the right time.
Yes.
So it is trying to find content that people want to watch and put it in front of them. That's to their best interest, is to find the content people respond well to and push that in front of more people. That's what they're trying to do. That's the goal. So if that's not happening, the question, the solution to that isn't, oh, I just need more exposure. If I just had more exposure, like, we think exposures are problems, so we do all these things to promote it or share it and think that that's going to help it grow, but it doesn't. Exposure can be good, but just because you share content that no one's watching on YouTube in front of other people doesn't mean that it's going to start watching. They're going to start watching it now. So it really comes down to more of like, do enough people think that this content is valuable? Well, I should say, let me rephrase that. Not do enough people. Do the right people feel like this video is valuable to them? And then YouTube systems will figure out who that's for and start putting it in front of them as suggested and homepage content and things like that.
Yep.
Number 10. What is this one, Delina?
Paying for ads to grow. And this is another one of those things that it's like, okay, if I just pour enough money into ads and again, prove to YouTube that like my content can get views, then it'll be like this tipping point and all of a sudden YouTube will start promoting it to everyone, right? But that's not, I think that you should use ads, like paying for ads on YouTube to grow. I think that you should only use that if you are creating a video that is specifically an ad, like it's designed to be an ad to get someone to your product or service or something like that. I have never seen any channels paying for paying for growth actually get the kind of growth that they want.
Yeah, I just had a consultation last week with a channel in this spot. Like, hey, we're getting good traction. Everything's growing organically. The response has been really positive. If we do ads, can we just pour some gasoline on this fire? And you could, but if you got budget for that, you will get way better return by flying out to a creator and doing a collaboration with them and start cross promoting between other channels that share your audience. That is a much better use of your resources. You can get subscribers by doing ads, but the quality of that subscriber in our experience has been very low. The number of people who then actually become ongoing engaged viewers as a result of that ad is like really low, and you're just paying to inflate a subscriber count number without really getting a whole lot of extra engagement on future content. So it's not something that we usually recommend. There's other better ways to grow your channel than that. Number 11. This is going to be a doozy for some people, I think, because I bump into this one a lot.
Yep. Posting regularly. I think that we hear so much about like consistency, and it is important, but not from an algorithm standpoint. Again, kind of tying it back to it's important from a human standpoint. You upload at the same time every day. Say that you upload every Friday morning, then your most loyal viewers will know that whenever they're on their lunch break on Friday, you're going to have a new video for them and they'll show up for it. But in terms of an algorithm standpoint, YouTube doesn't care. YouTube just, what was the goal that you just laid out? That it wants to surface the right video to the right viewer at the right time. It doesn't care when that video is uploaded. It's going to put it in front of the right viewer when it's there.
Yeah, the myth is like to promote and grow my channel, and you keep publishing new content all the time. It establishes trust and authority with my domain, my YouTube domain. And so the more videos I have, the more chances I have to convert a viewer into a subscriber. And I think there's a few things going on here to consider. Number one, YouTube, like Delina said, doesn't care how often you're publishing. The viewer might care and want to keep consuming content for you. But in terms of growth, just because you're posting every day or 3 times a week or 5 times a week doesn't mean your videos can be more likely to grow than someone who's posting once or twice a month. Because we have seen many channels posting 5 times a week getting very little traction. And they're like, I'm trying really hard. And then we've seen other channels posting like once or twice a month and getting millions of views and subscribers because the content was really high. And so we are definitely in the quality over quantity game if you've got to focus on one or the other. It is possible to keep publishing a lot of content that no one wants to see, or to keep publishing content that makes a lot of mistakes. When we hear the stories like I switched to publishing daily and my channel started growing, I think what we're seeing there is, in my opinion, more of like the learning curve that's happening. If you publish one video a day, that's like 7 opportunities you have to learn what your audience responds well to, what they leave, what they don't watch, what they watch more of, as opposed to doing it once a week. The learning curve is going to take a little bit longer because you're only doing it once a week instead of 7 times a week. So potentially you're learning 7 times faster at once a day rather than once a week. So the channels tend to grow, but I think it's because we're learning more, we're learning faster about how to better serve our audience, not because the algorithm it's another correlation versus causation thing. I know the posting every day or whatever makes a big difference in terms of the algorithm is concerned.
I actually had a consult ask me today how often he should post, and I said, well, it depends on like how many videos a week or whatever. And I said, it depends. Are you the type of creator who tends to feel like, oh, I have to make sure this video is absolutely perfect before it goes out into the YouTube world, and you put a lot of pressure on it? Or are you the type of creator who just tends to be like, no, I just want to post content and just throw it up and hopefully it gains traction? I worded it a lot more gracefully than that, but but yeah, I basically, because if you're the first one who puts a lot of pressure, you just need to get content out. Just get it out and stop putting so much pressure on it and get yourself in a better mindset to be more creative. Whereas if you're the creator who just feels like, oh, I should be able to upload whatever I want and it should just get traction, then no, you need to start focusing on quality and really putting more into your videos.
Yeah. So to summarize it here, and this is what I see everyone in the chat in the live stream here is like, okay, now I know 11 things not to do, but what's left? Like, what do I actually do that's left? And they're going to summarize this hopefully, because that's like all of our other content basically. Mm-hmm. But to summarize it, it's what we say here is optimize for people, not for robots. Think about the viewer first, the story that you're telling. How do you hook their attention and hold their attention? How do you craft a title and thumbnail that if someone wants to consume the value that you're providing, as soon as they see that, they're like, oh, that is for me. I need that. Where like, boom, I'm in. And they're clicking and they're engaging, and you're doing these branding things like we talk about with primal branding and other things that get people to quickly care now about your content and start engaging on a deeper level with it. So the robots, the algorithms follow the viewers. They follow the humans. They follow the people. And what the people respond well to is then the content that the robots surface. So rather than trying to figure out and hack the robots, we're simply saying, follow the humans, do what they engage with, what they watch most. And if you do that, then the YouTube gods will reward you and surface your content to more people where they will be more likely to engage with it. And then once that happens, more positive signals about your content, and it will surface even more. So hopefully that kind of gets you down the right track. If you need more, dive into all of our other content. But we would also love to work with you, whether that be in a one-on-one session. We also have video labs opening up here next week. So if you want to talk about more like what you should be spending your time on in order to grow your channel and rank, we spent actually 8 weeks talking about that in video labs. And not only do we go in depth to teaching you how YouTube search and discovery systems work, how the algorithms work, but we actually work on it with you. So we're going to spend several weeks on this with you, actually, and we're not just going to say, here you go, here's some content, here's how it works, good luck. Instead, in Video Labs, we want to spend several weeks working with you on your channel, hands-on, learning how to better optimize your actual video content so it performs better, provides the signals that YouTube needs to ensure that it grows and really reach and serve people better. So we've been working with almost over 40 creators, I think, right now in Video Labs. David just published his first video after implementing it, after implementing a few things that he saw. He's in your class, Selina?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Yeah.
And he just doubled. Like the very first video he published, he's like, boom, double.
Yep.
It was awesome. Demetria is in my group right now. She was only in Video Labs for 2 weeks, and her very first video started to implement some of our growth process. She had double. Normally gets around 700 views in the first few hours, and instead she was up to 1,100 views in the first few hours instead, and that video was on a really positive trajectory. So I think my favorite quote, though, is from Michelle, I think she was in your group as well. Michelle. Who said, like, my channel is suddenly taking off. My business is finally coming together. I'm really grateful for this group and my classmates. And now I'm living the life I dreamed. So thankful for all of you all. And I think that's like what we love. That's what we get. That's what we're really excited for here is change your life so we can equip you to change lives of even more people. It's like a win-win-win. So it's not like we have just a few success stories. We keep ranting over and over and over, maybe over again. Like I like promoting each Video Lab session with the stories of creators who are currently in it or just finished the previous session. So it's just a very reproducible, predictable process that grows any channel who goes through it, does the work. I know that's a really big claim, but if you're willing to do the work and go through it, we've been doing this for over 6 years in this program, Video Labs, and we just updated a lot of material and we just see it working consistently. So we will dive deep into more of this. So Selina, I know you need to take off for a consultation you have in 1 minute, actually.
I do.
Thank you for hanging out. But the rest of you guys want to answer some of your questions here. So thank you, Selina, for hanging out. And she's gone, just like that. All right, so some of the questions. Oh, just so you guys know, registration for Video Labs is opening next week. And we limit each group. There's 3 groups that happen with Lennon, Dahlia, and myself. Each one is limited to 20 creators. It's available on a first come, first serve basis. So you can go to videocreators.com/videolabs to join the waiting list and be the first to get notified and claim a spot next week when we open up registration. And I would encourage you to register ASAP when that does open next week because the spots fill up fast and because you have a lot of work to do as soon as you get into Video Labs, even before our very first meeting where we're going to start working with you on a personal level. So go check it out, videocreators.com/videolabs, join the waiting list, and we'll notify you next week when registration opens. All right, so many good questions that you guys have here. So Richard Getz, thanks for becoming a member. Really appreciate you becoming a member of the $25 level. We're looking forward to reviewing your channel publicly on our channel and helping you with some steps moving forward with that. I Fund Chris, how does TikTok help with YouTube SEO? I don't think it does at all, really. Brian's Lawn Maintenance, thank you for the super chat, man. I really do appreciate it. It's like, thanks for doing these great interviews, Tim. Great tips. Thank you, Brian. I'm glad to help and glad this has been so helpful and valuable for you. And thank you so much for that super chat. Richard Getz also asked, does having your videos on your website in a blog, will that help improve your YouTube metrics? No, just having it embedded in a blog doesn't matter. If a lot of people are watching the video from there and coming over to YouTube to watch it, then that could be beneficial, but just the fact that it's embedded somewhere doesn't make a difference. Eileen Smith, how can we benefit from tracking the keywords we see in Creator Studio? If people are finding my videos based on certain search terms, what should I do next? It's a little bit hard to answer just with that information only. The mistake a lot of people make is they's like, oh, I'm getting a lot of traction on this one thing. I'm just going to keep doing this one thing. And before long, their channel has been pigeonholed into this one thing. And then they feel stuck because they're like, Tim, I can't do anything else. Because if I do, my audience is going to like not watch my videos because they think I'm all about this thing. But really the only reason I'm doing this thing is because like I've just been doing this all the time because it performs well. A good example, I think, is of a creator I worked with. I don't know when it was. Been like several months now at this point. He grew his channel to 2.5 million subscribers. He accidentally did this, not accidentally, but he made this video that accidentally blew up, where he packaged himself in a box, grabbed his passport, and shipped himself to another country. And that video went huge, as you could expect. It's a very intriguing story. All of you guys are like, how did that, what happened there? And so that video did, and so he's like, oh, that worked. Let's do it again. And so he made another video doing the same thing. And 2 years later, he's like, Tim, I'm tired of doing this. By the way, it's not real, but you wouldn't know that by watching. You would think it's actually totally real. But he's like, I can't, but if I do anything else, no one watches. I'm like, yeah, it's because you got stuck in this rut of doing this thing that performed once for you. And now you have to keep doing this thing and you don't want to. So I would encourage you that just because you have a video that's doing really well, yeah, learn from it. Do a follow-up video. We have a client right now, actually, Tony, who started working with us as a more ongoing long-term client. And he was doing around 10 to 20,000 views per video. And then we started working with him. We gave him some suggestions. He made the next video we recommended that he make. And that video went to 1.4 million views in only 4 hours. And he's like, oh my gosh. He's like, you guys are awesome. Let me do that again. And he did like 3 more even before we had a chance to be like, whoa, hold on, slow down. Just because this one video is working, if you just keep doing this one thing over and over again, it's going to kind of start to lose its sizzle a little bit. Not the first video, but like people will be like, okay, this is like a normal thing I get from you. And then when you want to go back to doing some of your normal type of content, it's not going to work. They're going to be confused. So let's mix it up. Because this other thing might work even better than 1.4 million views in 4 hours. And I don't even know what it's at now. It was like a couple million views pretty quickly. But, and so like, don't just always make sure you have, who your target audience is and what your value proposition is. And when you focus in on delivering that value to the specific audience time and time again, like you gotta state to them, this is the value that you're going to get if you're here. So it's not about mailing yourself in a box. This is about seeking adventure wherever we can find it. For example, I'm just making that up, but you get the idea. So if it's seeking adventure, you could mail yourself in a box, but you could go on a hiking trip and none of your audience would be confused. You could maybe try to find quarantine ways to have an adventure in your house, and no one because the viewer understands that we're not here for mailing a box. We're here for this deeper belief or this creed, and this is about finding adventure. So make sure that you just don't get trapped in doing that. That's a whole nother episode in and of itself, but hopefully that answers your question, Eileen. Mayhem Music. Is it good to stretch the story after you got the audience hooked for better watch time? No, it is not. If the video starts feeling like it's going too slow, you will lose that lose the audience. So keep the story moving. Like when you'll commonly hear people say like, oh, I just don't know where the story is going, or the story just kind of doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. So when the motion of the story slows down or people can't see where it's going, you're going to lose your audience faster than any other way you could lose an audience. The only time you want to slow down the story is right before the climax. So you've got this hook, they've overcome these obstacles, and then the whole reason why they are watching, you can slow that time down and like stretch it out. Think of like it's the final battle, it's the climax between the two bosses, and now all of a sudden in the movie theater, you might not notice it, but now everything's in slow-mo instead of instead of just showing that the battle ended very quick. It's like all these slow motion shots, and it's the same swing of the axe 3 different times from 3 different angles. Then you can slow way the heck down and just build that suspense. But you can't do that throughout the content. That you can only get away with that to slow down right before the final moment. But that's the only time you want to slow down the story. Secret Crush on Glam asks, are channel trailers and especially channel trailer ads still a thing that could convert into subs? Channel trailers maybe, but not because the channel trailer itself gets a lot of subscribers. It's more because it's the practice, the act of going through the process of forcing yourself to figure out how to very succinctly and quickly communicate, this is who I am, this is who I'm for, this is the value I'm delivering, and this is why you should care. And being able to do all that in like 30 to 45 seconds or so, that exercise then pays off dividends in all the future content you make from that point forward. So the channel trailer itself as an asset, I haven't seen makes a huge difference one way or another on channel growth, but the exercise of going through the process of making that does have dividends and pay off in channel growth going forward and future content down the road. Nagamini. Can Video Labs be used by Brazilian channels? Oh yeah, any language channel. We've had French, we've had Spanish. We have French in it right now. We've had Italian, Spanish. We've got Portuguese. We've had all sorts. It's not limited to a certain, like, you need to speak English to be able to go through the content and get the experience because we speak English, but you can make your content in any language. And in fact, I usually appreciate it when there's at least one channel in each group that isn't based on English, because it forces the other people in the group to now, like, we get so lazy by just listening to content to make all the decisions, but if they can no longer understand what the language is, and now they're forced to evaluate the content without being able to understand what's being spoken, it makes everything we teach even more pronounced. That is not just dependent on like the language. It's kind of like you go to a restaurant and the fancy ones will turn down the lighting and make it dimmer, because in most restaurants you go in and you appeal to your eyes primarily to figure out, do I want to eat this or not? Is this going to be good for me? But in fancy restaurants, they turn the lights down, so you have to be more dependent. It makes you focus more on your taste buds, and so the food actually tastes better and is more flavorful with the lights down, because they're forcing you to depend on others' senses in order to when you eat the food. So we're kind of doing the same thing with that. So yes, if other languages in there is great. Real Slab, do commentary channels, why did commentary channels get so many views? I mean, I know lots of commentary channels that don't get any views. Similarly, like, why do gaming channels get so many views, or why do vlogs or beauty or whatever? There are channels in each of those verticals that get a ton of views, but what you don't see is all the other channels that we work with who aren't getting a lot of views and come to us kind of frustrated. So there's not one vertical that's like, oh, if you do this type of video, you're going to get more views than if you do that type of video. It always comes down to the branding. How do you make someone feel? How do you connect with the viewer? That's what makes the biggest difference. Is it a waste of time to use any of these keyword tools? I think we talked about that already, but no, it's not a waste of time, but just use it for what the tool is better for. It's not for matching keywords in your content. I can promise you, I just did a consultation last Thursday or Friday with a channel that was using all these keyword tools and stuff and just cramming all the words in their spaces. And they were frustrated because like I am optimizing my content, but all these other channels over here are getting way more views than I am. And they aren't using any keyword stuff. Like that's not at all like that. There's not even any keywords in that video. I was like, yes, but if you're a human and you have your video versus that video, which one are you more likely to click on? And then the light bulb moment went off for them. Like, oh, that other video for sure. I'm like, yes. So use those other tools, but use them to kind of get ideas for your content, not necessarily to determine what the metadata and all that stuff is about. Really, I mean, if we're going to go to level 2.0, which is where we go in Video Labs, but it's a little bit much maybe for this conversation, is when we talk about optimization, you optimize title, thumbnail for humans, and then the rest of the optimization actually happens in video. It's the way you present the material, the way you present the content, the way you quickly make the viewer feel something and elicit a human response and reaction from them. That's how you optimize the content that gets the watch time, that helps it perform bigger. That's why you can try some of the things we teach you in Video Labs, and the very next video get double the results than you normally do, because now instantly, all of a sudden, that video, those people are watching, you're holding their attention, they're getting to the end, they're clicking to watch more, and then your channel really takes off. So it's, if you want to know like what is a good, quote unquote, good video, it is really about how do you make someone feel something. The more someone feels something, the better that video is, and the better that video will perform. Last question here. So YouTube scans everything in your entire video, but it doesn't see the file name. It sees the file name. It just doesn't put any stock on that. No algorithmic weight is on the file name, because the file name is something that doesn't help them understand if this is a good, just like the metadata. You might give them metadata, and you should, but that doesn't mean that YouTube just blindly believes you, like that you're completely 100% accurate in what you're putting. There's a lot of people, who are like, this video, like I want my video to rank next to PewDiePie or next to this channel, so I'm going to put them in my tags and in my description, even though their video has nothing to do with that other creator. They just think that they're going to be more likely to rank next to that person if they put their title and thumbnail there, or they put that. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of looking at the chat and talking at the same time. If they put that keyword in their stuff, then their video is going to be more likely to rank next to other creator. And that's actually called misleading. That's called spam. It's like your video doesn't have anything to do with that. So YouTube's learned we can't rely on that information. So we're not going to depend on that. You guys, man, we have covered a lot of ground. I'd love to dive into this with you more on a personal level, either at videocreators.com/consulting and dive into a 1-hour session. But even more so, like, let's spend 8 weeks together on this. Registration for Video Labs opens next week, and we're not just going to give you some theoretical stuff that sounds good, but we're going to be working on your actual video, your upcoming videos together in small groups and throughout a process that has double channels very quickly. And if you're like Michelle, like, this has actually changed my life. I am so grateful for this process. Everything's taking off. My business is growing. Everything's coming together. I'm now living the life I dreamed. So thankful for all of you. Like, that's what I want to hear from every single person who goes through Video Labs. So you can check it out, videocreators.com/videolabs, and add yourself to the waiting list, because registration will open next week, and you'll be the first to get notified and have a chance to get more information and sign up for one of those spots. So go to videocreators.com/videolabs for that. I'm going to leave you with our quote of the day. This is from Dahlia, but she had to take off for a consultation before we wrapped up here. So Dahlia's quote of the day for you is, "Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will." She shared that with me right before we started recording or live streaming here. And I was like, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Yeah. So if you keep trying this stuff, you are more likely to succeed than if you just think you can't do it. Or even think about all the stuff we said as just a load of whatever. And you're like, I don't think so, Tim. I would challenge you, if the things you're doing, if you're trying all the things you're talking about and you're not getting the traction you want, and you feel like you are not getting the momentum that your content deserves, I would just encourage you, maybe even challenge you, to try something different. Don't keep doing the same thing you're doing and expect different results. Try our process, try this, try some of these things we talked about here instead, And I'm really excited to see how that performs on your channel. So thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you. Welcome to Chickenlandia for moderating, getting all the questions in front of me here. Good to see you guys again. We'll look forward to hanging out with you guys again next week for another Video Creators Podcast episode. See you guys then. Bye.